Are you interested in media coverage with over 80,000 podcast playbacks per month, along with automated outreach to thousands of customized targets to grow your revenue more efficiently? With over $8 billion in new sales pipeline growth delivered to our partners so far, we can help. Please reach out for more information. Hey, everybody, welcome to Supply Chain Innovators. I am Michael Vincent. My guest today, if you don't know, you probably recognize him because, who doesn't know 2011 most improved player from the Illinois Wesleyan University Fighting Titans?
Wow.
Mr. Will Jenkins.
What is up? That is a throwback piece of knowledge there. I respect it.
Dude, I've been following your career ever since you were a freshman at Illinois Wesleyan football.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Let's go.
Who doesn't know Will Jenkins of Illinois Wesleyan fame, my friend?
Listen, it's a big D3 football school, baby. So good times.
Yeah, there you go. That is fantastic. What did you play, by the way?
I played corner.
Oh, you did? All right.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. It's a good time. Yeah. Tough sport, tough position. You're down there battling the big nasties all day.
Oh yeah, man. But it's I love the end because you had to drop back into flat coverage and stuff like that. So which is kind of fun. So I got a best of both worlds, right? I also got lit up by a few corners coming across the middle on a drag route as a tight end. So.
Nice. Those are my kind of corners. I typically, when I see people in person, they're like, "Oh, you play corner? I figured you play linebacker." I'm like, "No, I play corner and I like to hit people. It's fun."
Yeah. Rip the cages out. The rib cages out. Just boom. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple plays where I saw Josh Allen go over the weekend. We went because he knew he laid out his receiver.
I know the exact one you're talking about, and it was not good.
It was not good at all. But because what was that play? Because the dude who hit him was even going me. It was on me because I shouldn't have hit him like that. But also Josh Allen was going, "Oh gosh, I laid him out. I laid him right out there."
So quick, it was like. The guys extended and the safety tried to lay up. It was just tough.
Yeah, it was nobody's real fault, just aligned. Thank God the guy was okay. He just, he went away. But that was one that could have been ugly. Could have been ugly.
Yeah. Where did you play at, by the way?
I played at Mercyhurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania, brother.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. The Lakers of Mercyhurst University.
Good stuff.
Who are now Division I.
Let's go. I love that.
Yeah, they're not going to be, in a college playoff anytime soon. I guarantee you that.
Nah, that's okay. We got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. But in case you didn't know it, you're CEO and founder of, what is it? Journey.
Yes.
Is it like the band? Did you buy their whole audio library and stuff or what?
Honestly, for search engine optimization, I wish I could have because could not get journey.com. So we got the closest thing that we felt resonated with the market, journeydelivers.com.
Yeah,
but
I got you.
Maybe one day. We'll see.
Maybe Steve Perry. You got to get in touch with. You got to change your name too, bro. Can you sing?
You know what? Fun fact: I was in 3 choirs in high school, and if you happen to search LinkedIn, you'll find a video of me karaokeing at F3 this past year.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did see that. You rocked the house, didn't you?
It was a good time, man. I would say I'm more performer than I am good. I can hold a tune. I'm not like a great singer, but good enough to get up there and karaoke. Solid.
I got you. Nobody's going to throw you off the stage.
No. They're actually going to encourage me to come back.
Really?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
All right. Hey, comments below, people.
Yeah, it's real.
We want Will. Was there like a mosh pit and everything going on? And like groupies?
It was active. There's a point where I forget who was recording, but they turn around and show the crowd. It was bumping. So listen, you need somebody to karaoke. Holler at your boy. I'll be there.
So what are you doing up there? You singing like love ballads and stuff like that?
I'm very in tune with reading the audience, and I try to choose some fan favorites. One of which is typically Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. It's a winner. It's like everybody likes it. It's a good tune. You can sing along to it. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Okay, so you're there entertaining. You're entertaining for sure. You're a stylist. You're making it happen.
We're bringing the heat.
Yeah. Bringing the heat. They're bringing the heat at journeydelivers.com too, right?
Yes.
What's going on with there? What is you're recruiting?
Yes. So we provide 3 services to freight brokerages and freight tech companies today. We recruit, we do consulting, and we do training. So my background is in brokerage. Had the opportunity to co-found Molo Solutions. We sold that company to ArcBest.
Yeah, you go back to Coyote, and then it's right? Right.
Yeah. So I started at Coyote in 2014. It's where I met a couple of my business partners. We started Molo in 2017, had the opportunity to build that business from 0 to 615 million in revenue in our fourth year. We sold that company to ArcBest. I used to run our sales team, so I stayed on for about 18 months after the acquisition.
Gotcha.
And then really I wanted to see us get to $1 billion in revenue, which was like a really cool milestone. We did that in 2022. We did
nice.
1.25 billion in revenue. And so when I left May of 23, I knew I was going to start Journey. And the first part of it was recruiting. Most of my relationships are with CEOs and owners of brokerages or executives at large top 20 brokerages today. And it just felt like a natural progression from being in the space to being now freight adjacent. And as my non-compete expired, I had the opportunity to then do consulting and the training arm of our business. So now we provide those 3 services, and most of our clients use 3 of the services. There's only a couple that only use 1.
So they're all as integrated as I was imagining they would be. Like you're recruiting the right person based on obviously all 3 of them fit together. So people package the whole thing together, right? I mean, because just recruiting, you don't know if you're getting the right culture or the right fit for the job, et cetera. So if you bring in all that other knowledge through that, you can guide them and say, no, you really aren't looking for that type of employee.
Correct.
This one is the one you really want.
Yeah, and I think that's been helpful for us and our team as we intake new customers and walk through what they're looking for specifically with recruiting. A lot of people come to us either for recruiting or consulting. We're figuring out what they might need. And then you start to diagnose just in the onboarding, okay, as you said, you might not need a VP of sales. Let me talk through a little bit of like what I've seen in the space with organizations at different sizes and my experience building an organization across different sizes. So after you work through that, relatively thoroughly, you end up with a better scope for the role. Or you might diagnose and go, oh, shoot, we're not ready to hire yet. Let's do a little consulting work to build the structure before we put people in the seats. Or often we say, man, like this person you're looking for might be in the organization today. Here are the characteristics. I was just going to
say that through that. How often does it happen where we go, well, wait a minute, that's the position we're looking for. We actually have the right candidates here.
Honestly, it happens more than you think. And I try to be as direct with clients as possible because I know what it's like to build an organization. And some of your best talent is sitting in the seats today. They just need a shot to go learn and figure out this new thing. Right. So sometimes that'll be the case. And then we'll say, okay, well, you can leverage one of our training products. We have a self-service LMS. You take the courses as you go, or they can use a role-playing tool. We have an AI role-playing tool that allows them to put sales reps in an environment. In that environment, you can role-play, hear back how decision makers will respond. It's really, really realistic and tailored specifically to freight. So if they don't need, us to go play somebody, there's a bunch of different tools they can use to upskill their team.
That is amazing, dude. I love it. That is, that's the way it should be done, right? What's the biggest mistake? Common mistake that you see in people or in organizations that are hiring, whether it be what they think they're hiring for or actually pulling that trigger.
I think the first thing is most organizations are very fuzzy as to what they actually offer in the market. Who are you? What's your story? Who's your ideal customer? What types of services do you provide better than anyone else? Truly, what are your core differentiators? Who do you serve? And why would a customer work with you versus the 21,000 other providers that are all emailing and calling them all day? And most of the organizations just were started by really, really ambitious, hardworking, roll your sleeves up entrepreneurs and executives that grew. And now they've got this 75 million or 100 or $200-300 million company. And they just never stopped. All right, what is it that we do? They just did it and it worked.
Yeah, they just do. Well, they're not marketing experts per se. In our business, like you say, the barrier to entry is pretty low. So if you're willing to grind, it's a grinding industry. If you're willing to do it, you will find some sort of level of success, and sometimes really big success. It doesn't mean you're the best CEO or marketer, right?
No, not at all. And that's a good thing because I love entrepreneurship. I want to see people go and win. But when you pivot from a small business and you want to go onboard strong talent, that doesn't have the entrepreneurial spirit, they don't really know how to shoot from the hip. They're like, all right, like what's the structure? A lot of times what we see as challenging is there's really no structure or no guide as to what best practices are. Here's an example. I go interview Michael. Cool. Michael says, I could leave this job I'm at today to come be a sales rep for your organization. But what are you expecting me to do? Volume, gross margin, net new customers, retention? Like, what are my metrics for success? And most companies don't have that. They're like, oh, just do well, like add more customers. And that's not a strategy.
No, it's not, but it's an easy one to put. I mean, because then they reserving the right to then measure you at a different metric later on, right? Correct. That's dangerous. That as an employee, as a potential employee, you don't want to get into that situation.
No,
you need to have clear, defined goals that can happen, right?
Totally. And one of the reasons why I think this makes us particularly unique as a recruiting, consulting, and training company is that we're brutally honest with clients across all of the services. So we've told a lot of companies, hey, like just now is not the time or it's not a good fit because they're not able to clearly articulate what they want their performers to go do. And so I can't in good conscience have myself or my recruiters go find really talented people who are crushing it at another company to come take an ambiguous role with no structure where it may not work out because that company hasn't set up the right structure for them to succeed. Like that's not fair for the person. And we're okay with helping to guide companies to figure that out. And then, hey, like when you're ready, let us know. But I'm not going to go try to get, some killers to come over here and then you're not prepared to be able to support them. That's not right for them.
Yeah. So that brings up a something that occurred over the past 4.5 years, is this, what I called, and maybe it's not right, but it was irresponsible growth.
Oh my
we
gosh.
saw so many people jump to greener pastures and then a year later, done. Because people were just growing and growing and growing and not doing it strategically. Very dangerous, shaky foundation. And then collapsed, right?
Happened all over the place. It's tough.
It happened everywhere. So did that, because you're really the first person that has the insider knowledge that I've spoken to about this, but I've spoken to others. I don't know if you're familiar with Sherman Barnes out in Dallas, right? Great guy. Consider my brother.
That's my dude. I love Sherman.
Sherman and I are brothers for sure. We're super, super tight. He's fantastic. But, we were talking about it and kind of considered that, there's this, there's an overcapacity of capacity. But we also produce an overcapacity of talent at the same time, right?
Yep.
I mean, did that occur as I thought it did? Because it really looked like, because he's like, man, it's tough for people to find jobs out there. I'm thinking, you had all these people that really, we condensed 3 years of learning into like a year or 5 years or 6 years of learning due to the massive growth opportunities that are out there. And now people who would still be brokers just 2 more years, like a frontline broker, are now directors of sales and stuff. And now that talent it's overcapacity. Is it still that way? Is it still way out there?
I think there's a couple of ways to look at it. One of which is, and I don't have hard data to follow this up with, but contextually, it makes sense when I think about how fast organizations grew during COVID and then how steep the drop off was subsequently. So just take like a sales professional that may have been making low to mid 6 figures prior to COVID, or maybe you're just bumping up into making your commission checks, like making a little bit of cash. And then COVID booms, and for 2 years, you make money you've never seen before, right? You go from maybe a $75,000, $80,000 person to a $200,000, $250,000 person, right? Like you're making commissions that have not been seen before ever. And then that falls off of a cliff, right? Revenue per load starts going down.
I was about to say, and never will be again.
No, like that was a historic run, right? And so people made money that they probably didn't anticipate. And that put them in positions that they may not have been ready for, either exiting an organization to take on a larger role in another company at a higher salary price point because they said, hey, I'm making X where I am today. It's, July of 2022, and I have made X, Y, Z the last couple, like I'll take this role. Then the company downsized because they truly didn't need that role. It was inflated based on where it was. Yeah. And now that person's left out to dry because the role doesn't exist. And so they went
that person's performance was inflated too, though.
Right. So it's very similar to looking at like, okay, what did someone do from 2020 through 2022? I don't know, man. It was on like market's never really done that before. So I'm not sure that I really care that much. Like everybody.
Yeah, you can't measure the person's ability on that because you couldn't fall down and make money.
Could not. Yeah, if you
unless you were specific companies that we used to point to and go, how does this company not make money? How did you figure out to not make money?
Yikes. But when you think about that in the context of what is someone going to do in a market like this, man, if you left a role, you made way more money and then you took a role for more money and now that role is eliminated, the average has been brought back down. They're not getting paid that high base that you may have taken a couple of years ago because there aren't as many of those. The roles exist, but there are way fewer of them. There's just not as many.
Right. So in other words, it may be not that the talent grew, but the people who believe that they have that talent grew.
There are there's that, and
kind of like
also
a reverse Peter principle type of thing, right?
there's that, but I also think there are just, if you just think about how many companies blew up during COVID and how many of those companies are not in the same cash position today. They just don't have the liquidity to pay people at that level. So the amount of roles, like there's not that many VP of sales roles available. There's a finite number. There's not that many direct, like there's just, and now there are less because there are less companies succeeding at that clip. So if you got left out, it's tough.
Yeah, you just did. That's just the way it is. Yeah, it's difficult. Are you seeing any changes, anything on the horizon that makes it feel better?
Here's what I'll say. We launched this business officially November of 2023. I traveled during the summer of 23 and did like a dry run. I had like 3 clients, was placing some candidates. I was like, all right, like looks like this thing's going to work. Like we're going to do recruiting.
Okay. Yeah.
If this last 14 months is what the market is like when it's slow, boy, am I excited to see what happens when the market flips because our
that's encouraging. That's fantastic.
I think it depends on the companies that you're partnered with, right? We get a lot of really cool opportunities with strong organizations that have managed their cash positions well. So they have been hiring. They didn't stop. They may have just hired a little bit more responsibly. Instead of adding 10 reps per cohort, they might add 2 or 3. And we get the opportunity to help place that talent.
Yeah, the people who realized that it was an anomalous couple of years, right?
Correct. Yeah, so it has not been slow for us at all. Just looking at the stats, we have close to 70 or so companies we recruit for actively. And they're all incredible organizations of different sizes from, sub $20 million organizations up to some of the top 20. But those are organizations that have a long-term talent management plan. I will say that we still aren't seeing a ton of like operations roles. We're seeing more than we have. And that typically is an indication of volumes increasing. Most of the roles are revenue generating, like help us find people that know how to build a book.
Let me ask you that. You don't have to answer this, but I think it's an interesting question. Otherwise I wouldn't ask it, right? I think this is a terribly boring question. Therefore I'm going to ask it. How often do you like turn down a company? Like, nah, I ain't going to recruit for you. Nah, often. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think our reputation in the market is the most important thing. I think the brand that we perpetuate really matters. And that matters both for myself and the individuals that are part of building this business, all of our recruiters, our head of marketing, our head of business ops, like all of them need to be solid. They need to be solid in the market and they need people to trust them. And we need people to trust us that we're going to do the right things. That goes both for candidates and for clients. So if we have clients that come to us and we happen to know some information about them because we're pretty close to the space and we may know how their executives treat people or how they happen to manage compensation or how they happen to manage performance if things aren't going well, I'm not particularly interested in representing that brand in the market because if we go and put our name on that, that's us telling people that this is a good company.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's an excellent answer. In case you didn't know, you're also an investor, right?
Yes.
Did you know that? Did you know you were?
I did. Yes.
You did.
Yes.
So I remember I was at TIA in Orlando and I was doing a sustainability panel. I was moderating a sustainability panel with like Art DeMonk and Lars Ward and a couple of other people were on there. Right. Bart DeMonk. Sorry. Sorry, Bart. Your name is now Art. But I was walking by another room, and there was my buddy PBJ, Paul Bernard Jaroslawski.
Stud. Absolute stud.
Absolute stud. And he was like doing like a pre-launch type of thing. And I was the only one who walked in the room. And so he pitched it at me, and we talked about stuff. And that's Shipper CRM now, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
You're involved in that and an investor in that.
I am.
Tell us about it, brother. Promote your investment, man. I love the concept and what it's there. And I think it's very much needed technology in these days.
100%. So I had the opportunity to get to know Paul and Christian through Freight Caviar initially. I went on a podcast with them September of 23 and got to just foster a relationship with both of them. Fast forward that a couple of months, Paul's co-founder, Christian Gebes, lives really close to me. So I live in Bucktown. He lives like 5 minutes from me. Both of our teams work remote. So my entire team at Journey is remote, and his team at Shipper CRM is also remote. So we're like, dude, let's just like co-work together. I went over to his place. We did some co-working, and I was like, man, I saw the launch, but I've never seen a proper demo. Would love to see more of Shipper CRM. So he gave me a demo. This was probably April-ish of 24. And I was like, man, this thing's incredible. Like, you've got legs, and there are some things you can tweak that will make this product more applicable and easier to buy for your target market. And my non-compete was about to expire. So kind of wait that out. And my first thing after that was, man, do you all need more investors? Because I see the product roadmap. I see where you're going. I see how applicable it is and the amount of time that it saves. So when you think about sales and freight brokerage, time is money. I need to find the right person to talk to. And I need to find customers that are in my target market. Most tools are really hard to filter and get anything about equipment, anything about the commodities, and really effectively get to the right person because they index the entire world. Like, these lead database tools have information on every company. And all we care about at Shipper CRM are logistics employees of companies that move freight. That's it. So it's way more curated, way more tailored. So I saw, I have a lot of respect for both Paul and Christian. I saw what they were building, and I said, man, I think the domain expertise I have might help tailor the product. And so I was, super excited to become an investor. It's been a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. And one of the things I've been speaking to quite a bit about with various different people for other reasons, which hopefully people will see in the future. Little foreshadowing hint teaser there, but it is, the proliferation of all these new technologies and this advancement in technologies. And I always argue that, as a society and as humans, not to get too philosophical, but we're really great at acquiring knowledge, but we don't really work on our intelligence level all that much, right?
Okay.
So we've made it really, really easy for people to spray and pray type of thing, right?
Yikes.
Through AI and automated sales emails and all these different things, right? Which actually hurts the actual sales rep that's doing it the right way or trying to do it the right way, because people like yourself have to build this overly protective filter or moat around them. Otherwise, you get just bombarded with noise and, quite frankly, BS all day long. So the ones that could actually benefit you and be of benefit are getting filtered out too, because you have to overcompensate for the crap that's coming your way. I see a Shipper CRM and those type of technologies as being those that are going to develop out of this kind of nebulous pile of really great tech that is being abused. Right?
Totally. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to sell, and spray and pray is never an effective one. It's really tough to get people to respond when it's super generalized and not tailored. And so a tool like Shipper CRM allows people to get in front of their target market faster and more effectively, and then use the time that you would have spent doing all this research to figure out who to talk to write better, more curated messages that resonate with the people you're selling to, so that you actually get through. Because most of it in freight, I've said this for a long time, it's not if, it's when. The person I'm selling to has a need. Whether it's me or another provider, they need the freight to be moved.
Yeah,
my timing may be off. I may have missed the RFP, et cetera, right? But if I'm positioned well enough, I eventually will get my opportunity. If I'm not getting through, if I'm spammy, if my message is generic, if I'm not really adding value to them.
Hey, you haven't responded, which tells me you either fell off the earth or blah, blah.
Yikes. The worst. The absolute
I responded
worst.
to that email.
No. The absolute worst.
Yeah, but once you get it, Tristan, my man Tristan at I Am Freight.
Okay.
he's fantastic. If you don't know him, you got to follow him.
I don't, but I need to know him.
Oh, God, you do need to know Tristan. I'll introduce you. You're going to love him. He's
great. Thank you.
Fantastic. He's fantastic. But he will tell you that his big thing is you're only borrowing that customer. So once you get that customer, you have to realize it from the mentality that it's just your turn.
It's not lying.
That's how you need to service that customer. And I thought it was a brilliant, obvious take. And most of the brilliant takes are the obvious ones where you go, okay, yeah, right. You put the ham between the slices of bread. Done. Right?
Shocker.
Those are the brilliant ones though, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing to me that's most interesting, just in business, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You need to do something that people are willing to pay for, and you need to provide value that they'll continue to pay for. That's it. Okay. Solve a problem, get people to pay you. Once they pay you, get them to continue to pay you. There are an infinite number of things, low tech to high tech.
Yeah.
Find a problem, solve it, get paid, make sure you keep getting paid. That's it. And solve the problem better than whoever your competitors are, or at a level that makes your customers comfortable with working with you. If you do that, you'll be fine.
But you have to understand what it is. I mean, you could have the like you said earlier, you didn't even imply, you just said it bluntly right out there. And I just want to make that point stick as one of the important points in this talk is you could have the greatest service out there. You could have the best differentiator in the industry. If you don't understand it, you have it and convey that, you're screwed. Because how many times you walk into somebody and go, oh, we need a new sales guy because we can't get it. And that's not it. You could get the greatest sales guy on a planet to come in there and they're still going to fail because you don't realize what you have. Your message sucks, to put it bluntly.
100%. You cannot sell a product that has no brand differentiation or no service differentiation. Just the same blasé thing. I don't care how good you are. Good luck.
Yeah. We used to do it in the 80s, though, in LTL. That's how you operated. It was
nice.
Who took you to the best lunches? Who took you to the most concerts? That's how you got.
There was a time. Listen, there was a time.
There was a time when that's what it was. I mean, there it is. Yeah. Where'd you get that new car? Well, I just signed a contract with Roadway. Oh, you did you? That's interesting.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's how it used to play out. Do you think? Let me ask you this last question. I got a million more, but I want to respect your time. Do you think with the eventual spread of really, really useful technologies like Shipper CRM, that the metrics for sales activity finally will change to quality instead of quantity? Like how many calls did you make in FBS? Because that also perpetuates and pushes the spray and pray crap. It's not how many. It's not I got 35 followers on LinkedIn. It's the quality of the 100 or 200 that you have, right?
I would agree to some extent. But I am more old school from the fact that you need to earn your keep. You got to earn your stripes there. And so I would always prefer quality over quantity. I don't want someone making 150 really bad call, spray and pray emails. It's not effective. Yeah. But you do need to make a certain volume of calls in order to start to build your pipeline. And I think it's most important in the first 90 to 180 days of someone in the role. I've never seen a sales rep make 10 general activities a day, 10 emails or 10 phone calls and build a book of business. Never seen it. I've never seen somebody get in shape and not go to the gym. I don't know what to tell you. So like to me,
that's a good point. Well, of course you can't take an injection now.
Sure. But you're still not getting in shape. Like
no, you're not.
The intersection between quality and quantity is the sweet spot. And it's got to be quantity with the right type of customer, and your messaging needs to be right. So I need to be talking to the right people with the right messaging enough for it to matter. If one of those is off, I'm not going to make it.
I had a coach early on in a different industry, a sales manager, I call him coach, who taught me the value of collecting no's. And it wasn't, you don't go out there saying, I want this one to be another no. It was the mindset that a yes doesn't equal a celebration. You still
Correct.
need, if your fifth call, you just got the contract that's going to make your nut for the whole year. You still got 50 more calls to make today.
Correct.
And if you don't make those 50, that day was still a failure.
Correct. You have to do the work, because sales is very cyclical, and you could have the best first quarter ever. And if you take your foot off the gas, Q2 might be all right. Q3 is going to be trash because you didn't build a pipeline, and that is going to kill the rest of the year. You have to constantly be adding to the fire. So I'll get off my soapbox with that, but like you got to pay your dues. You got. No,
you're 100% right. Spoken like a true football player. How many often do you see that during the course of a game?
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Every quarter.
You have to kill constant.
Every quarter.
Constant.
Yeah, every quarter.
Got you. And just because you're a good sales rep today doesn't mean you can't practice. You can't practice and be a good at being a cornerback, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to be the most improved player unless you practice every day.
Hey, man, you got to pay your dues. Very, very much so aligned with that.
See how I brought that full circle?
Yeah.
See how I did that?
That's A1. Thank you.
That's talent.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Hey, when you start your road tour up on stage, I want to be your manager, bro.
Man, come through. We'll have a lot of fun. It'd be good.
Right on. We'll do it. I'll bring my guitar. We'll do it.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
There you go.
You and my dad can play. My dad plays a ton. He loves the guitar. So
yeah, fantastic. All right, brother. I love it. We'll do it. We'll hook up. Hey, Will, brother, where are people going? Who needs to contact you, brother?
So LinkedIn, easiest place to reach me. Will Jenkins. My handle is Will Jenkins WCJ, and then our website is www.journeydelivers.com. Our company page is very, very active on LinkedIn too. So best places to reach us.
Absolutely fantastic. I appreciate it, brother. Hey, everybody. Thank you for downloading, tuning in, and watching the show. I'm Mike Vincent, SCI Supply Chain Innovators. Peace and love.
See you. Thank you.